Okay, welcome everyone. We are going to get started today with our SEA office hours. And our topic for conversation today is performance evaluation measures for staff. As we get started, though, I have a short disclaimer to begin with.
This resource was developed in 2024 by the Nita M. Lowy 21st Century Community Learning Center's 21st CCLC National Technical Assistance Center, NTAC, funded under a grant from the U.S. Department of Education Department and administered by Synergy Enterprises Incorporated under Cooperative Agreement Number 287E230009 with the Department's Office of Elementary and Secondary Education. Opinions expressed herein do not necessarily reflect the position or policy of the Department, nor does mention of trade names, commercial products, or organizations imply endorsement by the Department or the federal government. This resource is in the public domain and is available at 21stcclcntech.org. Authorization to reproduce it in whole or in part is granted.
So, with that said, the 21st CCLC NTAC is here to support everyone who plays a role in the implementation of these programs. And so that includes the state education agencies across the nation. And we want to provide support, and our goal is to provide support in a variety of areas that include these priority areas that we've identified around COVID-19, equity of access to resources, supporting students' SEL needs, fiscal compliance, statutory and programmatic requirements, and academic focus areas such as the ones on this list. Our plan for the session today is to have those of you who joined for office hours, and right now, I'm going to be honest, that list is very short, to introduce yourself. And our plan is to facilitate some conversation, but really the door is open in these office hours for all of you who work for the state education agencies, who are part of the work that the state education agencies are doing, to have conversation, to share ideas, to feel free to share resources, but this is a moment to unmute. Any resources that are linked that are shared in the chat, we can also share in a follow-up email to those who registered and planned to join the session. So that being said, I would like to be transparent and clear that at this moment, everyone on this call is part of the 21st CCLC NTAC team except for Jessica. So Jessica, I'm going to give a minute and but I'm going to put you on the spot in a moment. I am going to start though by asking the senior TA liaisons for the 21st CCLC NTAC to introduce themselves a little bit. And then for those of you who are on this call who are not part of the NTAC team, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves, share your role in the SEA, and a little bit about why you joined the session today, the things that you're thinking about, the questions you might have. So I will go first. My name is Hillary Jones. I'm one of the senior TA liaisons. I have been working as part of the NTAC team to help provide support to some of the state education agencies. And prior to that, I've run programs, I've done training and technical assistance across the nation over the last several years, as well as worked in a school-based setting. I am going to pass it over to Shanika, who is next.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shanika Peck. I'm also one of the senior TA liaisons specialists. I've been a part of this work for a little over 2.5 years, supporting 21st CCLC programs. Did a lot of work for the project U for Youth or Y for Y. And so I've facilitated a number of trainings, both specifically with subgrantees or at conferences. Prior to my work with supporting 21st Century Community Learning Centers, I also supported some youth workforce development programs, supporting youth as young as 12 years old, all the way up to 24 years of age. I've also served as a lead teacher and intervention coordinator at a year-round extended day boarding school for inner city kids for about 8 years or so. I'm super excited about the work. I'm more excited about a few, actually, there's like Hillary mentioned. I do recognize Rachel. Rachel, nice to meet you. I'm actually one of the senior TA liaison specialists covering your state. So if you have any specific questions around what we can do to support your technical assistance initiatives that you are already running in your state, this is also a great opportunity to just share any questions or any ideas. So it's nice to meet you. And I'll pass it over to Chaz.
Hello, everyone. My name's Chad Somers. I am a technical assistance liaison here with the NTAC team. I've gone through a lot of different roles when it comes to out-of-school time programs, all the way from frontline service and all the way up to director of programs. And I've also taught special ed, and I've done a lot of restorative education work with students who are coming out of any sort of like juvenile justice program that need restorative learning because of learning loss, because of an interruption, because of something like that. Just glad to be here and answer questions. I'm gonna go ahead and pass it to John.
Hello, hello. I'm John Hulse, and I have experience as a state coordinator for 21st Century Learning Programs in Delaware. And then before that, I was a district administrator and a building principal, and I taught for 10 years as well, both in special education and elementary education. But I also have out-of-school time experience working at a Boy Scout camp as a counselor, and then also as a supervisor at a day school program during the summer. So hoping to bring some of my experience and ideas to help everybody, and also to keep on learning more and more about what wonderful things we can be doing for our young people across the nation. And I will pass it to Brittany.
Hi, I'm Brittany, and my background is I was a classroom teacher for 7 years, but following that, I spent about 5 years in out-of-school time programming as the program leader, and facilitating the actual initiative of a 21st century program within that OST program I was at. So that's kind of what has led me to my work here today as a technical assistance liaison. And I'm going to pass it to Miguel. Miguel, I don't think we can hear you.
I'm having all kinds of operator issues, operator errors today, so apologize. Miguel Garcia, been with the team since April. I'm happy to be here. Have overseen many different iterations of the grant as a sub-grantee, but I've also worked with our SEA here in Texas on several different committees, special committees. And so I'm very familiar with almost everything 21st century. Doesn't mean I'm an expert. I'm still learning. I try to learn every day, and we'll just keep growing together. And if you all ever need anything from me, feel free to reach out and contact me. I'm going to hand it back to Hillary.
So that being said, we could spend a lot of time introducing this team, but that's not really the purpose of our conversation here today. We want to create space for you to ask questions. So that said, as I said, Rachel, Jessica, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about your role in the SEA and why you joined the conversation today, what you're hoping to hear, what questions you might have. This is your chance. We want to hear from you.
I'll go ahead and go first. So I actually work under Rachel here at the ROS in New York State, and I'm new to the department and to Binghamton University in general. So I've been here for 2 weeks, and I'm here to learn and absorb as much as I can so I can be useful and help the children across New York State.
That's great. Thanks, Jessica. Welcome. Congratulations on your new role. We are glad to have you here. Rachel, how about you? So we'll give Rachel a few minutes. I know how life is, that you're probably doing 12 other things. But that said, since we have this really small group and there's so many things that we could talk about. We had said that we were going to talk about performance evaluation measures, but ideally, and the purpose of the office hours specifically is to create a space for people to ask questions. And so, Jessica, I'd say to you, we've got a really knowledgeable group here, and I'd love to hear any questions that you have, things that you're spinning about that you want to know about 21st CCLC broadly, or more specifically about performance evaluation measures. You got any questions, things you're thinking about?
I don't have anything at this time. I'm just trying to absorb everything in. If I think of something, I will definitely drop it in the chat, though. Thank you for your assistance today.
Well, keep thinking about that then. But in the nature of sharing information and sharing resources and creating a space where we can have some conversation about what are the things that are important in the context of 21st CCLC, I'm thinking that one of the things that might be valuable to somebody who's particularly new is to understand just a little bit more about the NTAC and about the work and that we're doing. And so I'll start there and maybe it'll spur some questions for you. So the 21st CCLC NTAC is designed to build the capacity of the professionals who are doing work in CCLC programs and in the out-of-school time context. Our website is 21stcclcntac.org, and it really offers a wide variety of resources and things that you can use as you learn for yourself, but then also as you support and enhance and enrich what programs are already doing. And so some things that I'll point out that are on our website, and probably the most valuable thing is the resources that we offer, right? So on the NTAC website, you can see that there's a variety of capacity building courses. This one that's being highlighted right here is on learning recovery, but there's also courses on things like becoming a leader or guiding positive student behavior. These are about an hour to an hour and a half types of courses, and they are places that you can build core knowledge, core skills in a specific area, or that your subgrantees can help them get started in some of these areas. We also have micro learnings. These are 10, 20-minute bite-sized pieces that you can grab and go listen to as a podcast or a quick video, and a variety of toolkits that you can, again, grab, use. They're filled with resources. And I will mention that if you see on our agenda things like huddles, oftentimes these are opportunities that we use in 30 minutes to just explore resources. So recently we've done a huddle on learning. We actually did a series of huddles on learning recovery, where we talked about literacy, math, STEAM, and SEL. We've also been doing a series on becoming a leader. It's a 10-part series that talks about the 10 pillars of servant leadership. And it's great for those new and emerging leaders, as well as we are in a series on guiding positive student behavior that we're exploring restorative practices and strategies that can be used related to that. But there are all kinds of tools to go with that. There's also training kits. These are grab and go PowerPoints that are already developed with the notes and everything that program leaders could use if they want to train their staff on a topic. So one of the most popular topics that we get asked about is embedding academics into enrichment. And so this is where the first one is, but really all of these tools and resources are here for the states, for 21st CCLC providers to be able to grab, use, rebrand if you need to. They're here and free and accessible for use. The next thing that's in our resources is there is an external resource library. So these are resources outside of us on a variety of topics that can be beneficial and are curated specifically for 21st CCLC programs. It includes everything from toolkits to funding resources to websites or videos with information. And there's really a wide variety, again, of things that you can use, things that you can grab, access to resources and information here. And then the last piece that you find under the Our Resources section are the archived resources. One of these pieces is the Y4Y archive, and this is a project that was prior to the 21st CCLC NTAC that again provides a wide variety of learning opportunities. So these are primarily targeted at the program director and frontline staff, so at sub-grantees and at the staff who work on the projects, and cover everything from fiscal and project management type of content to how to teach financial literacy to youth or create a makerspace within your program. And so again, really broad. These are self-paced courses that individuals can sign in, take, they can earn certificates for many of these courses, although they cannot for this particular Click and Go, but they do all have tools with them that include project planners and resources. And one of my favorite parts are things like the FAQs that provide ideas and strategies that may be helpful as our program people think about the challenges that they're facing. In addition to the Y4Y resource, you can see the events that we host live or virtually that are recorded and uploaded to our website. So all of the things, all of the sessions are available in these spaces, and we'd encourage you to explore them more. In news, one of the places to check out is things related to what's new. And so there is a 21st CCLC Summer Symposium coming. Jessica, I hope you're attending. And we hope to see you there and hope to get to have some more conversations with your team around what are the things that you're thinking about related to that. But really, this is a place for the state educational agencies and subgrantees to connect and get connected to the work that we're doing. And so if you visit the website, you'll see that there's information around the different strands, the theme for the session, which is for the conference, which is Bridge to Excellence, Together We Can, Together We Will. And there's really a wide variety of topics that will be addressed through the strands for the conference itself. We also had a session highlighting one of those huddles that are the 30-minute sessions, highlighting financial literacy. We have some highlights from some of our recent conferences that we've attended, and we encourage everyone to check out our monthly newsletter and get connected with what's happening there. And so this is the first newsletter that includes an update around mini courses, ways to get connected, the sessions that are upcoming, as well as information and best practices from program leaders, information around research, and ways to engage in the conversations that we're having. And so we encourage you to continue to stay connected through that resource. You'll also see in the news section that our most recent newsletter has been sent out, the May 2024 newsletter. And I'm hoping and guessing that's where you found out about some of these sessions, found opportunities to register or to engage, and that you're finding resources here, but also that you share these resources with sub-grantees so that they can have access to the support that they need. Finally, we do have a blog that has posts and information about things that are happening in our program spaces in the 21st CCLC network. And so these are designed to provide these emerging trends and ideas about the work and what's going on in the out of school time context and in the space. And so they're simple, grab and go, a little bit of information about what's happening, but really ways to engage in the process. We would encourage you to connect with us as you continue your journey in your new role. One of the things that you can do is you can always reach out to us by email and let us know ways you can support, things that you would like to see happen. You can also request technical assistance. So the state education agencies can request training and support for sub-grantees. or even for themselves. And this training and support can be provided in person, it can be provided virtually at no cost to the state. And so this kind of support can be based on a variety of things that you need, and that's why we wanted Shanika to introduce herself to you, because one of the things that we pride ourselves in and are intentional in our work around is working closely with the states to help identify what those needs look like. And so we like to meet with individual states, talk to you about what kind of support would be valuable, look at data that you have, and think about strategies and resources around this work. And so we would encourage you, if that's something that you're interested in, to reach out to Shanika, reach out to the NTAC team. You can request technical assistance, and we can have a deeper conversation about what that support for subgrantees may look like. And I'm guessing, Jessica, that you don't know that right this minute, but usually on week 2, we don't actually know that, but we'd love to support and have conversations, more in-depth conversations about what that work could look like. And one of the things that I'd love to point out that are new and different and important to us as part of this NTAC project, especially because Shanika mentioned that she knows Rachel and is familiar from some of the work that we've done previously, is that the 21st CCLC NTAC has the opportunity to go very deep in our programming and to use a multi-tiered system of support. And so we can offer universal TA. I showed you a lot of those resources that are available both in our resources and in our archive, that there's a wide variety of resources available there that can be universal, or we can come and speak at a conference. All of those supports can be provided. But we also recognize that sometimes subgrantees need additional support. And so we want to offer both targeted and intensive supports. And these can be done very creatively. There's lots of options or opportunities for what this looks like based on the needs of any specific state or specific even group of subgrantees. And so, for example, in the state of Michigan, we're working with one subgrantee to go really deep and address some of the needs that they have to help improve the practice and the performance of that subgrantee. One of our team members, Yana, will be headed there in just a few weeks and be working and investing in some time, some energy in there. Brittany introduced herself, and she would be the subgrantee TA liaison for the state of New York. And so I hope you're giving your little wave, Brittany. And so she would be willing to connect and work more deeply with a subgrantee based on conversations that you have with Shanika and her team. And so I would encourage you, if you're thinking about things, if you're wrestling with things, that we'd love to talk to you more about any of the things that you're thinking about. And so at this point in time, I'm going to open the floor. Is there anything that anybody on this call either wants to talk about, ask about, or thinks that we should be sharing with Jessica, who's 2 weeks in, and Rachel from New York?
I guess I just want to second, Hillary, your wishes for all the best. When you're this new in a role, it can be a little bit daunting. So just want to echo our support. We're here if you have any questions. I'm sure that your prior experience will help you to do the very best job that you can do. So we're here when you need us.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Yeah, I'm with John. Like, we want to be a resource to those who are working in the state agency and to your subgrantees, both in turn. And so please reach out. Please, please, please.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, that's
So we
perfect
have
conversation.
Okay, so Brittany, you said handles New York sub-grantee support. And then Shanika, did I say that correctly? You
Yes.
handle the resource center support. Is that how it's structured? I'm just trying to understand that umbrella thing.
So Shanika is the senior TA liaison for
Okay.
the state of New York. And so she would work with you as the SEA to identify what those needs look like, to talk about what kind of support could get offered. And then Brittany is the like boots on the ground working with the sub-grantees person.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So
Write that
Shanika,
down.
she's the point of contact. Shanika's the one.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
And I would just add that through working with Shanika, you would identify kind of like a plan of action, a course of action for your subgrantees to help support them in the areas that they need the most. And then I would come and facilitate.
We also do a lot of work with supporting teams that are leading technical assistance within their state. So if you are a part, if you serve as a team that may be subcontracted to lead TA, we would also partner with the work that you're doing. And again, we like to help you go deeper with your subgrantees. So if there's an area that you or your team just aren't or don't have the capacity to take a deep dive with, that's where we come in. And of course, we would love for your subgrantees to engage in some material that is already out there that we provide. And then what we would do in our initial meeting is talk about any areas of improvement or some pain points that you've noticed, either from you conducting any focus groups, or maybe you've issued a couple of surveys and you realize, hey, a lot of subgrantees are having trouble with engaging disengaged youth or trauma-informed care. That's where we would come in and kind of draft a plan on how we can support using our MTSS framework for delivering technical assistance. So really think of it as something that can be altered to fit your needs specifically. And again, a lot of the things that we share, we often record it and share it with you. Those tools that we often hand out and use during any technical assistance or trainings, that is available to you and your subgrantees within the state as well. So it's not just a touch and go or a sit and get kind of thing. We definitely like to collaborate with the state, but also our subgrantees to figure out what the needs are and how we can best support them. So it's an ongoing process, an ongoing partnership, so to speak.
Well, perfect. I look forward to working with you both. Thank you.
Apologies. I was pulled away to something else, so I wanted to, I wasn't able to give my full attention to the presentation. I know one thing in New York, that, we're, of course, we are looking to put together our fall conference, and one of the things, that participants have shared is, the need, to retain the participants that they're working with. So the students are coming to the program, but they're not staying to get the hours that are required by the subgrantee to count those students as regular participants. So something on student retention would, amongst other things, but that's one thing that kind of rises to the top. And I just wonder, like, as a resource for us as the resource center in New York, is anyone on this team, like, did you come out and do presentations at our conferences, or you could do that?
We absolutely could. And Shanika has been at a conference, one in New York, two in New York.
Yes, it was New York's Schools Out Make It Count conference.
In Albany or Troy.
Yeah. Rachel, quick question. Your team is focused on programs, all programs outside of this city of New York? Or
Correct, we're rest of state.
Okay, all right.
So our fall conference is going to be in Binghamton, and it's September 13th. But would love to get this conversation started because, you know, you just have great access to resources, and the other presentations that I've sat in on last week were just really well done. I mean, I'm not opposed to you know, offering things virtually, but I definitely want to share those resources with our subgrantees.
And we recognize you have to do some things virtually sometimes, especially in a state as big as New York, but it's just not the same. And so, yeah, I think I'm going to speak for Shanika, but I'm going to say Shanika's going to reach out and schedule some time to talk to you.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Rachel, are there any specific questions that we could answer for you, that we could, you know, that things that you're thinking about besides your fall conference that you wanted to talk about? I mean,
You know, I would, you know, something that's kind of timely that's come up that you mentioned it, but I don't know if I'm opening a bigger can of worms. So in terms of braiding funds and what that looks like. So, you know, we're just trying to work with NICEAD to they're releasing some new guidance to try to clarify things, and I still kind of have my own questions. So what's your take on it? And maybe that would help me understand NICEAD's guidance. Okay, that was a big can of worms. I didn't.
so I'm not sure that I know what NICEAD's guidance says. So that's my first thing I'll
So
say.
nationally, when it comes to braiding funds, or federally, when it comes to braiding funds, what's the guidance and guidelines?
I mean, so big key things that are going to sound like, you know, like I'm just saying like keywords, right? And I don't mean it to sound like that, but they're the things that I'm thinking about. Number one is it's important that whatever funds that you're using, supplement and don't supplant work that's already happening. So that's number one.
Right.
Number two, yet, and at the same time, it's really important for sustainability to braid and blend funds to support programming. One of the most common things that we see are people who are using child and adult care food program or summer food service program or national school lunch program, right? As those are like the biggest example that we have of braiding funds. But I think thinking about funds in that, how can we do things that maybe 21st CCLC funding doesn't allow us to do because of uniform guidance, or just because we've used our funds and want to do additional? And how do we use these other funds for sustainability, for long-term planning, to take other funds to take over work that's no longer being funded as funding opportunities either reduce or disappear entirely at the end of a grant cycle, etc.
Jump in here for a minute because I think
thank you. I was going to say
it's a really sensitive kind of thing, and I think that Rachel, the department has been talking a lot about braiding funds. I believe blended, they don't want to touch that word. Blended, the braiding is kind of what they're talking about, but there's been some ongoing conversations, and I think they're going to put out some guidance around that. So I would feel better if we took the question to them and got back to you.
Sure.
On that guidance, if that's okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
I know that I'm one that I like to understand all aspects of, you know, the project, and, you know, the more I understand it, of course, the better I'm able to explain it to our subgrantees, and that's our role, right?
And
kind of that.
were you at the last SCA, the winter meeting?
No.
Okay, you could go to the NTAC site and the SCA corner.
Okay.
And log in, and I believe there is some guidance on that topic from one of the sessions. I don't think you can log in, but you can Rachel, just with, I believe with your email. Let us know if you can't get in there and we'll get you in there.
Okay,
But all of the slides and presentations are living in that corner right now. And I'm almost positive you can find something on this topic.
excellent, thank you. And I do have another meeting that I have to get to, but thank you so much for
Yeah,
this.
sure.
And I'll definitely tune in next time. Sorry about the interruption earlier.
No problem. We have time. Jessica, do you have any other questions?
I just have one more, and it's almost not related, but I was just wondering if you guys had a recommendation for an application for like the CRM aspect of things. Like, just to be able to touch base with our subgrantees on a, more personal level and be able to track those communications and things with them. So I've been doing a little bit of research trying to find something, and I didn't know if you guys had any recommendations.
I'm going to say that we probably, I don't know that we can't give a recommendation, but I don't specifically have confidence to be able to say, here's my recommendation. But what I would say about that is, number one, if you have other SEAs who you work closely with, I would encourage you to reach out to them and see if they're using that at all. And then, I wish some other SEAs were on this call so that we could just ask the question to the group and see who's here, but that's not the case. So I would encourage you to do that. Kathleen and Candace, I'm wondering if there's a way we could push that question out to some of our
Yeah.
SEAs.
Was it a particular tool? I didn't catch the first part of it.
A CRM, some kind of CRM, so customer relationship management tool.
Okay. Yeah, I think we could probably figure out a way to push the question out.
Okay.
But give us some time to think about that, Jessica, and we'll get back to you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Well, that said, if you don't have any other questions, we don't need to like belabor this and just hang out for the fun of it. But please, reach out, be on the lookout for information from Shanika. And we do, because we are here on behalf of grant funding by the U.S. Department of Education, have a quick poll that we are going to launch right now. And I'm going to ask you very graciously, if you're willing, to fill it out, even though I would like to say it's anonymous, but I recognize it's not if you're the only person on the call.
Absolutely, thank you.
I will ask you to fill it out, and I would just say thank you for your time today, and I hope that we continue to have conversations and interactions, and we're able to get some more input from others as we go along so that they can also become part of your brain trust.
Thanks so much, everyone. It was great to meet you all.
Yeah, you too, Jessica.
Nice meeting you. We'll talk soon.
Sounds great.